If you are dealing with chronic debilitating symptoms, maybe it is long COVID or chronic fatigue syndrome or severe anxiety or just general nervous system issues, you are kind of researching this whole post-exertional malaise, pacing route, trying to figure out what to do, feeling stuck, feeling like you're in this constant state of overdoing it and setback, then this may be the video that really changes things for you, because this is exactly where I was. And I was really stunting my growth by taking a lot of this common advice that you get about PEM. So first and foremost, if you are new here, please subscribe to this channel and like the video. My name is Emily and I teach recovery from severe anxiety, agoraphobia, DPDR, panic disorder, the list goes on and on and on. But let's just launch right into it. So I'm going to read you from my phone, first of all, what exactly is post-exertional malaise and what is the mainstream advice on this? This is not my advice, this is what I'm reading, okay? This is what I was following in the beginning. So PEM, post-exertional malaise, is a hallmark symptom of long COVID and other post-viral syndromes like chronic fatigue syndrome. It refers to a worsening of symptoms following even minor physical, mental, or emotional exertion. All right, so common symptoms of PEM. Severe fatigue. This is not just tired, this is like drugged tired. I would feel like I had taken like 6 Benadryl and was trying to function tired. Muscle and joint pain. I also had severe headaches. Brain fog. For me, brain fog, again, it wasn't just kind of like what I thought brain fog would be. It felt like I was like stoned, dementia type brain fog, right? Shortness of breath, increased heart rate, dizziness, flu-like symptoms, sleep disturbances, and I could also say there's about 700 billion other symptoms, all right? These are just the ones that they're listing here. But it was pretty much anything. Insomnia, heart palpitations, panic attacks, like I could go on forever. Now, here is what kind of mainstream world advises as far as PEM goes. So they say energy conservation, prioritizing tasks, taking breaks, avoiding unnecessary exertion. Heart rate monitoring, recognizing early signs, stopping activity before feeling drained, and then logging your activities and tracking exactly what triggers PEM and adjusting accordingly. I tried this, okay? This is pretty much the recipe of what kept me stuck when I was struggling with this, because when I started this, I was completely bedbound. I became agoraphobic essentially, right? Literally like tripped and fell into this whole situation, went from what I call a normal person, okay, I had never had panic attacks, none of this kind of stuff, to I was chronically dizzy, I was experiencing severe DPDR, derealization, felt like nothing looked familiar, depth perception was off, colors were off, everything was off, panic attacks, heart symptoms, right? I was diagnosed with POTS at one point. I had so many symptoms, okay? So I wasn't able to leave my house, I wasn't driving, I wasn't able to walk to my mailbox by myself, I wasn't able to take a bath by myself because I thought I would faint. And I, in the beginning, was trying to listen to my body, all right? And so I was thinking, like, I don't know what's going on, but it's got to get better with rest and with time. And so I laid in my bed for 6 months straight. And everybody around me was kind of like, okay, you'll keep recovering, just rest, take it easy, take it easy. Well, here I am, okay, 6 months later, significantly worse, unable to even walk around my room, right? Like, I mean, walking from my room to my kitchen was horrible, okay? Laying in my bed was horrible. There was nothing like positive about this. It wasn't like I was like relaxing and sleepy in my bed. I was like wired, tired, freaking out, okay? Googling, Redditing, trying to figure out what was going on. Then I kind of started the recovery path and I was like, I gotta get back to life. I gotta get back to living some way, somehow. I'm a mom, I've got responsibilities, I have children, like I can't do this forever, okay? And so that's when I kind of stumbled across the whole pacing, post-exertional malaise thing. And I was like, this makes sense, right? Like, I mean, for me, I sit there, I open my computer, answer a couple emails, I am wiped out, I have a pounding headache, I'm unable to function. Okay, well, that was too much for me, right? And then I started deepening my avoidant patterns and I was like, all right, talking on the phone, too stressful, can't do that, okay? Around the kids, headphones, or the noise has to be quieter, or if I'm outside I have to have on sunglasses, or like this or that. And I was trying to avoid everything that made me feel worse. And the problem is, when you are in this state, right, your body is in a state of chronic fight or flight. Okay, no matter where that came from, whether it was like long COVID was the stressor, or maybe it was for myself like a surgery kind of tipped the scale, or a car accident, or childbirth, or compounding traumas and stressors, it doesn't matter. All of our bodies have a limit, okay? And so eventually things fill that cup, it starts to overflow. Now we're in this state of chronic symptoms from stress. I would not consider that to be anxiety. That is chronic stress, okay? And then what happens is we start engaging with that stress and we start engaging with that false alarm and treating it like it's a real alarm. So now we have the Redditing, the Googling, the searching, the avoiding, the trying to constantly fix, find a magic pill, find a quick fix, get rid of our symptoms, avoid our symptoms. Like, we are just trying to not feel the way that we're feeling at all costs. And that is the anxiety that I talk about that is completely fueling the stress fire and keeping our body stuck in this state. So some of that advice, like tracking your symptoms, monitoring your symptoms, come on. So the issue with this is there is no rhyme or reason, okay? Because when your body's in this false alarm state, everything is perceived danger. So in my opinion, it's not your responsibility to figure out what your body's perceiving as danger when it's everything. For me, my air would kick on or kick off and I would get this physical panic attack, adrenaline rush, feeling like, what just changed? What was that? Because it was as simple as change. The temperature changed. I'm not going to sit there and be like, all right, we have to keep the house at 68 degrees. Like, that's ridiculous. It's not, it's setting you up for utter failure. And frankly, it doesn't matter too, because you need to get to a point where we are training our body. Our body is not training us. Now, you will get back into that relationship eventually where you listen to your body. And for myself now, if I start to get shortness of breath and can't get a full breath, I'm like, okay, I'm overdoing it. I'm getting stressed. Back then, that was every day, right? I couldn't look at my panic attacks and my symptoms and chronic symptoms and think, what am I doing? Because I was laying in bed doing nothing for months and months and months, right? So I had to train my body. And also with like the heart rate monitoring and stuff like that. This is where I ended up traveling to Mayo Clinic, got diagnosed with POTS. I was glued to my Apple Watch. I lived on my blood pressure cuff. And I was just sitting there like, oh no, it's high, it's low, it's high, it's low. Oh no, all the time. And is that signaling safety to our bodies? Absolutely not, right? The constant focus is one of the things that fuels this whole situation. So while this mainstream advice comes from a good place, it is not helpful when you are actually in this, in my opinion. So disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but I am someone that recovered from this and that has helped hundreds and hundreds of people recover from this. So take it for what it is. But here's what I advise, okay? Number one, figuring out what would life look like if I was not symptomatic. Writing it down. What is life? Because for many people, they've been struggling with this sometimes for 20, 30 years. They're like, I have no clue what life would look like, right? So we're going to figure it out. What do we want life to look like, okay? And this is the big goal. And then we look at it and we say, okay, well, maybe we put on that list, I would have a job. All right, so where are we at right now? Are we able to leave the house? No. Okay, let's start with walks to our mailbox every day. Let's start with small drives. Let's start with whatever it is that is outside of your comfort zone, but achievable, right? And so then we take our goal list and we take our schedule and we say, okay, what are we going to make the day look like, right? Because laying in bed all day is not it. Catering to your symptoms is not it. Your symptoms are going to be so up and down and they will not lead you to recovery because recovery is not linear. The only way out is through, and this whole like PEM concept will happen all the way through recovery. And so when you have your worst days and you are feeling so symptomatic, like you literally can't move, these are your biggest opportunities to show your body you're safe and give yourself confidence of, even when I feel like that, I am still in control. I can still live my life. You know what I mean? Instead of giving into the symptoms, here we go again, back on the hamster wheel, back to square one. So anyway, having a schedule, sticking to the schedule, right? We're not going to make this some crazy schedule. We're just going to keep it simple and have something to redirect to all day long, all right? So if we catch ourselves in bed and we're crying and we're spiraling, we're like, okay, it's 2 o'clock. What am I supposed to be doing right now? I'm supposed to be getting lunch ready. All right, let's get it together and choose to go get lunch ready despite how we feel. We're good, we're safe, this is a false alarm. So that's part one. Part two, which is extremely important, because if you've already tried this and you're like, I've already tried this, were you white knuckling your way through this? Because that's what I was doing in the beginning, and that's not what I advise. So I have in my recovery guide, I have the schedules, like the templates for those as well, but I also have an acronym called IDEAL. And this is something that will be your best friend. I still use it today for everything, because it's not just for symptoms, it's for life. And this will teach you exactly how to respond. So when you're sitting there, right, and you're like, oh my gosh, my ears are ringing, like my head's throbbing, I feel like I'm gonna pass out, oh no, oh no, you use IDEAL, like say identify, right? I, feeling very symptomatic. Designate. This is a false alarm, right? This is my nervous system. This is a false alarm. I am in fight or flight mode, right? Okay, embrace. This feeling can linger. It can increase. It can change, right? It can morph. It doesn't matter. I am teaching my body that I am safe. It's okay. Move on. Back to what I was doing. Back to the dishes. But oh no, oh my gosh, oh my heart. Hey, it's a false alarm. It's okay. Back to what I was doing. Think of when you're cooking and it gets steamy and that the alarm goes off. It's loud, but we know it's false. We just continue what we're doing, right? Okay, anyway, same concept. And so that's going to be key. And then it's just navigating setbacks and staying consistent, right? And so again, if you are stuck, if you feel like there's no way this is going to work for me, that is what 100% of people that I meet say in the very beginning that end up recovering when they try these methods. So I would start with the recovery guide. You can also go watch my free recovery webinar in the description of this video as well. And be sure to subscribe to this channel. But thank you so much for watching. And I just want to give you hope, because honestly, I think we probably all feel this way, but I feel like if I can recover, you can recover. You probably feel the same way about other people. It all feels really, really, really flipping bad when you're the one going through it, but I'm here to encourage you and help guide you through this process.